Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to Factutainment. No Aura Master this time. He had to work because he works at Sitting Candle Hill. Uh, but yeah, we're doing another, I guess, a Christmas review.
Christmas.
This is a very weird one. Because instead of watching one movie or one special, best suggested. Um, I forgot what word I was going to say. Best suggested showcasing us and basically subjecting us to three shows from random seasons from shows we've never watched before. That there was
Common Rider and
subtitles.
Super.
There were
Common
subtitles, but
Rider and
none of them were English either.
what do you mean? All the subtitles were in
No,
English.
I meant like there were English subtitles, but none of the shows
Yeah.
were in English either.
Yes. So, and we're joined by.
Yeah, I'm Zero Yeti. Beth's here. Avery's here. Cecil's here.
Great.
Hello.
Yeah. So,
I'm
when we were
tired.
choosing Christmas. Yeah. So when we were choosing Christmas specials, everybody was like, "Oh, Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, Muppets Christmas," and they're like, ha. So I showed them 2 episodes of Super Sentai and one from Kamen Rider. And so we're going to be doing these reviews episode by episode. And the one I wanted to start off with something relatively normal to dip our toes in. So I started with Kaizoku Sentai Gokaiger. This is the pirate Sentai. The premise of the show is that everybody you see here except for the Silver Ranger are space pirates. So they're not human. And they come across these things called Ranger Keys that have the powers of every Super Sentai preceding them. And they come to Earth because that's where all these powers come from, and the point of the series is that they encounter their previous Super Sentai mentors and basically learn the meaning of these powers they've inherited. And then the Silver Ranger is the one human among them, and he's also just a huge nerd. So so the characters you have: Captain Marvelous, who's the Red Ranger; Gokai Blue, who's the serious sword character; Gokai Pink, who's the proper princess character; Gokai Green, who's the sort of fail guy doctor; Gokai Silver; and Gokai Yellow, who is the tomboy who's really into money. And this episode focuses mostly on Gokai Silver and Gokai Yellow. This is the Christmas episode where basically, since all of these pirates are from space, they don't know what Christmas is. So the Silver Ranger teaches them about what Christmas is. And
Because why not?
let's see. Yeah, so Gokai Silver comes in with like a Christmas tree while they're all plotting they're all like looking at their galactic bounties. It is tell them about Christmas. And so Gokai Silver takes Gokai Yellow basically Christmas shopping, and they encounter Santa Claus with a panda, which is it's basically a mall Santa. And Gokai Yellow asks for presents because she said, "Oh, Santa gives out presents. I want free stuff." And it's like, "Oh no, I only give out presents to good little girls and boys." And she gets mad about that because it's like, "Oh, so what? I'm not a good girl or whatever."
You're
So
literally a pirate.
yeah. So they're ruminating on this when they come across a bunch of children decorating a playground for Christmas. And there's this young boy and his sister, where the boy nearly falls off a ladder and Gokai Silver catches him, but the sister really berates her younger brother, like she open hand slaps him. and
She's
basically really.
That was like she just walks up and slaps this child, and it's like, "Ma'am, what?"
Yeah, she's
Just
basically
like,
really rude to her brother. Yeah, so they work on decorating this Christmas tree when the villains, the Zangyak Empire, decide to step in with their. Let me see if I can find a good picture of this. Their incredibly flamboyant monster of the week, with his phallic magic wand and open chest shirt design, who talks very effeminately
and hates women.
Yeah, so this character goes around turning people into dolls because they were making dolls. The children are making dolls. Uh, as they're doing this, the big sister's little brother gets turned into a doll by accident, and while the Rangers are protecting them, Gokai Silver gets turned into a doll, who you can see Gokai Yellow holding. So the premise, and when this happens, the big sister realizes what a jerk she's been to her little brother on Christmas. So they go about making this plan to stop the monster of the week, and revert these people from being dolls. So the big sister is making dolls. So what happens is the big sister makes a doll of Gokai Yellow, and Gokai Yellow fakes being turned into a doll. So they throw the fake doll as a decoy, and then once the monster's distracted, she jumps out and tries to steal the wand, which doesn't work, and Gokai Yellow just gets turned into a doll anyway.
Which was kind of weird.
To get this picture open,
I thought that part was pretty cool.
because the doll they made, the monster of the week says, "Oh, this doll is hideous. This doll is ugly. My doll would never look like this." And then the third cross comes, the third ruse comes in, where the little sister was given Gokai Yellow's transformation device. So the big sister turns into Gokai Yellow herself and grabs the wand, and they break it and save the day. And then we get to the really important part where one of the powers that Gokai Silver has, because he's such a huge nerd, is he has the ability to sometimes stick Ranger keys together to make a new Ranger. Because, let me give you the example here. Where was it? I have a lot of open tabs.
The costume department
Okay,
wanted something to do.
Okay, so since Gokai Silver is the 6th Ranger, he has the ability to transform into other 6th Rangers. In one particular season, there wasn't just one 6th Ranger, there were 2 of them. This is Gohan Gold and Gohan Silver. So when he had to use them, he's like, oh, I don't know which one to pick. Oh, which one do I use? So he manages to stick the 2 keys together to make Gohan Wings. It's split down the middle. So for the special Christmas transformation, he manages to stick together Gokai Red and Gokai Green by singing Jingle Bells, and he's able to make the Gokai Christmas key. Which is the Red Ranger, so it's the Red Ranger and the Green Ranger split down the middle. And I honestly, this is honestly really well done, because you'd think, oh, they just make the helmet, but it's red on one side and green on the other side. No. You can kind of see the sides of the helmet are asymmetrical with the visor, because those 2 helmets don't look the same. So it's really interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, they took from the original shapes of the helmets for each side. It's pretty good.
Right.
I like that.
So one thing about Gokaiger is they will often have episodes based around certain Sentai teams. And this, as everybody was quick to point out, as disturbing as it was based around the third ever Super Sentai team, which was Battle Fever J. Which I'm going to open up here. Brace yourselves, audience. So this is Battle Fever J. They are significant in that they are the first Super Sentai to have giant robots. Before then, the previous two teams just sort of had super vehicles of whatever. And this team was co-made by Stan Lee when they made the Japanese Spider-Man series. So
Yeah.
And their colors are China, France, America, communism, and a cat.
yeah, so this was made before like a lot of common tropes were introduced with Super Sentai. So in the middle you have Battle Japan, then you have the Blue Ranger, Battle France, the Orange Ranger, Battle Cossack, which should tell you how old this show is. The Black Ranger is Battle Kenya, and the woman with the suspicious thighs is Miss America. And let me just pull up this image. I'm going to put this on screen because you all need to look at this. We're all going to look at this together. This is what she looks like.
I hate it so much.
They have like the steely glass eyes that bugs have.
Yeah, because they have to have the holes in the eyes for the actor to see out of. A lot of them did that early on, and it was also because in like Kamen Rider, for example, a lot of them were based on bugs, so that looked normal.
Also, just the
This
fact
is
that they
the thing.
have it's a two-piece mask, and they have the mask, the upper part, and then a cutout where you would put your nose and lips, except for that is another different mask.
Yeah, so they go through the Battle Fever J finisher, this is called the Pentaforce, where it's basically just their 5 batons and they put them together to make this weird bazooka. Because it's sort of a thing. They have the big finisher where they put all their weapons together. Another thing they do in this episode, because it's focused on Gokai Yellow, is they would at least once for every color, they would, in the season, do a transformation where they all turn into the same color. So, because this is the yellow-focused episode, they have an all-yellow transformation, where they have turn into the Yellow Rangers from all various seasons. They do have an all-pink version of this. It happens in a throwaway scene in one of the movies. It goes by very quickly, and they're cowards for doing that.
No.
For not having them all in pink suits. Yeah, so in the end they defeat the monster of the week and they go back to decorate the playground. And to make it snow, they have
You're not you're
Gokai.
showcasing giant hammer guy.
Oh well, I mean, he's basically one of the Zangyak generals. I didn't think it was relevant to the Christmas part. Yeah, so there's Gokai Yellow turns into one of the additional rangers from Maji Ranger who makes it snow to help set the scene. And then at the end of the episode, let me pull up the Santa image, where at the beginning of the episode they encounter that dancing Santa with the panda. That is because that was the actor that played Battle Kenya in Battle Fever J.
Hmm.
Because they'd often have like actors show up as cameos. and because they help save Christmas, Battle Kenya bestows upon them secretly the powers of. He gives them the powers of Battle Fever J, basically giving them the team's blessing of that Super Sentai team, and that's how they get their power.
Oh.
And that's the episode. Like it's not too crazy. It wasn't too crazy an episode. I wanted to start things off on something relatively simpler. But go ahead and give your thoughts and opinions.
I thought you should show at least the image of Giant Hammerfucker, because he basically could one-shot the team every time he swung the hammer.
Yeah, something that happens a lot in Super Sentai is the monster will do some big bad attack that knocks everybody away, and they use that as a scene transition for the monster to escape. Like this. Like, he's one of the Zangiak generals.
My thoughts are, I said most of the time I had no idea what was going on. However, it was entertaining.
I will say,
I will say, this was episode 44 of like a 50-something season episode, so it was already pretty involved, and there was also a scene in the big robot fight where they both basically run through all of the gimmick things they have, or like the gimmick power-ups they have, most of which are from other Sentai seasons, so I would understand why that was really confusing.
yeah, as much as like it's obligatory, we got to do the giant robot thing. The fight could have probably been ended much sooner had they just used the doll guy's toy, like staff, to turn the villains into dolls. They break it because so he can't use it, but it's like, you could have just ended it right here, man.
Yeah, they broke the staff to revert everybody who was turned into a doll from being dolls, but
well, no, they did that first, and then they broke it.
They cast the return spell first.
So instead of casting a return spell, then break it, they could have cast the return spell, turned the villains into dolls, then broke the staff.
Well, I'm pretty. The Zangiak have that space laser that turns all the monsters giant, so I'm pretty sure that would have overdone it. We're just overthinking it.
Right.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so the thing about
they should have made them fight giant dolls.
Go on, Braden.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say I actually thought it was a really good episode. The only part that I didn't like was in the final fight scene. I felt like the number of times that they did different transformations and the amount of time all that took kind of overstayed its welcome. Except for the Christmas Ranger, I thought that was actually a very nice touch, very cool. But other than that, I thought it was very solid.
Yeah, they do tend to swap between powers kind of often.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, for trying to like find something that'll give them an advantage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you want to chime in before I talk about the robot?
I said not really. I've kind of said my piece, honestly.
Yeah, the interesting thing about the robot, this is Gokaiger, is the robot's kind of made of a bunch of weird vehicles, but also the middle is made out of the pirate ship. What the toy does is there's a dial on the back shaped like a pirate wheel that when you turn it, there you go, all the limbs pop open, and this reveals like a cannon or whatever that all flips out. And so the toy's gimmick is you'd stick parts. There would be an upgrade from like other various Sentai teams, where you'd stick the parts inside the hollow bits so that when you turn the dial, this other Sentai robot would pop out. So, for example, the first one they used was Magi Dragon from Maho Sentai Magi Ranger, for example. So this would pop out. The one that was probably most confusing was what the hell, Mahalkan, which was they have a giant F1 racer with cartoon eyes that is also kind of like bird themed. Oh, come. Because that was from a season where the robots were sentient cars with like that were like animal themed, and they had like cartoon eyes on them. So the funny thing about Mahalkin here is that this Formula One racer is the child of two other cars.
Oh, okay.
Car fucking.
Launcher.
Car sex.
Two trucks?
Having sex. Your muscles involuntarily flex.
Where is it? Show me a picture.
I regret even bringing it up.
Show me this car's vagina.
Well, I'm gonna have to use this, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, so the blue one is Buson, the bus lion. The red one is Speedor, the car condor. And the yellow one is Bear V, the bear RV.
Why is the
Mahalkin
yellow
is-
one yassified?
Because that's how you know it's a girl. Because you see, Mahalkin is the child of Speedor and Bear V. Don't ask how that works. Because so as part of the transformation, Speedor or Mahalkin shows up. They put like the ignition cartridge in it or whatever. I don't really need to explain that. And then they do their final combination, which is Ultimate Gokaiger. Let's see, and that's all that. It doesn't really matter. But that was the Go On Your Christmas episode. I thought it was a good starter because it's about, helping people, these people that don't know what Christmas is, learn what Christmas is. And, helping the, greedy character, the relatively greedy character, learn to care for others and help set up this Christmas stuff.
It is the most Christmas themed of the Christmas specials. That you showed us.
Kind of. But we'll get to those. This is Ultimate Gokaiger. The Mahalkin part is very large. Okay, do we want to pause between episodes, or you just want to go straight into the next part of the review?
Let's go straight into it.
All right, let's fucking go. So for the second Christmas episode, I subjected them to was Avataro Sentai Donbrothers.
Serious, find it insane, nightmarish, and strange.
Okay, let me just.
Is this the one that's
real quick.
notable for it's one of the only ones that has a male Pink Ranger?
Yes, I brought that up. I'll get the
Right.
group shot up in a minute.
You have one normal looking guy, and then the rest are just cartoon characters.
Yeah,
this is the one that's... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is the one that's sponsored by Peaches, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they went with a lot of non-typical, a bunch of atypical suit forms with this, including making two of the characters just fully CG, except for a couple of close-up shots where they have the suit but from the chest up. So you have Avatar Sentai Donbrothers is based on the story of Momotaro, the Japanese children's story where Peach falls down the river. Man finds a child inside of the peach and raises it as a son named Momotaro. Momotaro goes on an adventure where he is joined by a monkey, a dog, and a pheasant to fell an oni or something like that, or make the oni swear fealty to him or something like that. So I have to actually look the names up again because the names for these characters aren't your typical, oh, so and so red, so and so blue. It's, let's see. So the red one is Don Momotaro, and what wasn't really showcased in this episode much was Don Momotaro is incapable of lying. Like, his heart will stop if he tells a lie. So, growing up, he was sort of the best at everything, and as a result, everybody hated him, so nobody really played with him. So he grew up into a sort of serious-minded adult, very focused on his job. But when he turns into Momotaro, or Don Momotaro, he becomes very boisterous, like he's at a festival, and he comes out on a motorcycle that is being carried around on a platform by a bunch of festival performers.
Because why not?
And while I'm getting that image,
Just audience, look at this screen. This is not the weirdest one we watched.
I'm not going to find a good image of that. So the sort of
This
main character
does look
is
like your standard D&D party.
You're not wrong.
So the audience POV character is actually the Yellow Ranger, Oni's sister, who is a manga artist in high school, who, before becoming Oni's sister, has this encounter where all of these popular manga she made were suddenly came out as having been plagiarized, despite the fact that she wrote them herself. So now everybody knows her as a plagiarist, and it basically ruined her life. And so they're trying to figure out what's going on with that. The Blue Ranger is, what's it, Sal. It's Saru brother. Saru meaning like monkey.
Alright.
And yes, he has a red ass.
Why?
Because he's a monkey. I think it's like he specifically says he's a macaque or something. Saru brother practices wabi-sabi, which is this Japanese form of philosophy. He has never had a job in his life. He has forsaken all material means. Money literally burns him if he touches it. And he usually performs haikus. And he works as like this mentor figure to just random people giving out sage advice. And basically that is how he makes his living and like eats and stuff.
Huh.
Inu brother is the Black Ranger there, who is this small dog man.
I thought it was a cat.
Yeah, because he's the dog from the
legend
story of Momotaro. He looks like a Sonic Forces character. Everybody says this. So funny thing,
yeah, in that run especially.
Yeah, the thing about Inu brother is when his life was ruined, he was suddenly a wanted man for some reason. So he's basically a fugitive, and it's because his girlfriend went missing, and he was suspect number one. So he's basically wanted for the disappearance of his girlfriend. So he's basically on the run, and then there's the most interesting one. I can get back to that window. There's Kiji brother, who is the hell was it? Pheasant. That's right. Yeah. He's the really tall one, and this character is the first He just looks like that. This character is the first male Pink Ranger, and the suit was done like mostly in CG, aside from when they needed like a shot of him from the chest up. And so Kiji Brother is a salary man who is very, very happy about his wife. He loves his wife so much that it is basically his one defining character trait. He is
Oh,
obsessed
he's a
with
wife
he
guy.
is obsessed with his wife. You don't fucking understand. Let me just pull up a picture of I think I had the thing open.
Of the wife.
Well, no, some of the faces he fucking makes. So
now you
they're
gotta pull
like,
up the wife.
yeah, this man is borderline psychotic. He once let a man die. He once let a monster of the week die because the man attacked his wife.
Now you know what.
Three married.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold that
Yeah.
one against him, honestly.
There is. I'm gonna pull up the
He
picture of
has
the actor.
talons.
Now, this might be a bit spoilery. So this guy's wife is is like a copy of Inu Brothers' girlfriend. So this gets into an NTR subplot where
Because of course.
the Pink Ranger is, married to this woman. The woman he is married to is this weird copy of the Black Ranger's girlfriend. And he gets really jealous, so there's a part where the Pink Ranger reports his teammate, the Black Ranger, to the authorities. And this is the face he makes when he does it. This man is fucking unhinged.
What do you report him for?
He's the Black Ranger is wanted by the authorities, so he reported him.
Oh, right.
This man is the best way I can summarize Donbrothers is like imagine all five of these people all thinking, "Oh, thank God I'm the only one sane person amongst these fucking idiots."
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Other character who barely shows up is their sixth ranger, Don Dragoku, who is instead based on Journey to the West. The running joke between them is that they always forget that he's there because he's the sixth ranger. Moving on. Where was that? Sure. The other character is they're not the villains, but they are the antagonists. They're called the Noto. They are beings of a higher reality that is formed by human thought. And they are basically here on this plane to judge humanity. And they are also there to fight the monsters of the week. But
Hang on
because
one
the
second.
monsters...
I'm pausing. Wrong paused.
Right. So these are the Noto. They're the sort of antagonists for most of the show, but they're not necessarily the bad guys. They're fighting they're fighting monsters of the week as well, except because the monsters of the week in this show are transformed humans, they're willing to just kill the people involved. The Noto are from a higher dimension made of human thoughts, and they're basically on this plane to fight these monsters and kill them, I guess. These three Noto, the red one on the right, this is just the best picture I can find. The red one on the right isn't really relevant here. But they are named. The blue one is Sonoi. The white one, the woman is Sononi. oh no, fuck it. And the brown one is Sonoza. And I just want to take a moment to real quick. I love this guy's appearance. Like, his face is so distinct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the plot of this episode is something they have happen in this show a lot is the Noto and the Donbrothers clash, and they're like, all right, finally, we're going to put an end to this. We're going to fight to the finish once and for all. But because Sonoe, the leader of the Noto, and Don Momotaro are so the best at everything, they always comes to a draw. So it's like, okay, we're evenly matched. We'll do this again tomorrow. And then they do it tomorrow, and the same result happens. And the same
Then
result
they do it
happens.
tomorrow.
And so then the Noto are like, okay, we can't do this again tomorrow because we have something we need to talk about. There's something we, the Noto, need to do because it's the week of Christmas, and the Noto, being formed of human thought, they have this tradition where, to give back to humanity, they dress up as Santa and go around handing out presents. They go from house to house, like, doing Santa's work.
All right.
However, because...
I'm just going to say this photo. The first
The
one
shot goes
looks
hard.
like... the shot goes hard. The center one looks like a mall Santa who forgot his beard. The lady looks like she'd be the Santa at an office Christmas party. And then the guy on my right looks like the Santa you'd see at a strip club.
Jesus Christ.
Am I wrong?
I was gonna say he looks like he's gonna kill you.
No, he's given like the sexy like quarter. Oh, sorry, the sexy angle and then eye lift.
He looks like he's what the hell is that? What's it called? Muling or whatever.
Yeah, that fucking thing.
Yeah, so basically each of these characters has their own emotion they're trying to ascribe to, like, they're trying to feel that genuine emotion. Like, the middle one is trying to... I forget what it was, like... I don't actually remember. It's like passion, the woman's trying to feel love, and the angled guy is trying to feel, like, laughter. Or, like, joy or something like that. So anyway, these three go out as Santa Claus and they deliver presents to all the houses at super speed. So, well, as I mentioned earlier, Don Momotaro can't tell a lie. Like, he will literally pass out and die if he tells a lie. They encounter some children. A little girl says she thinks Santa's real, and these other two children tease her because, oh, Santa's not real. But Don Momotaro is like, no, Santa's real. And he describes this encounter he had as a child where Santa came into his bedroom at night and was, taking toys, and everybody was saying, no, somebody broke into your house and stole your shit. Like, no, that was just a thief dressed as Santa. But then the person at the cafe where they hang out, he said, no, Santa is real. Santa's a real person and he fights for justice. But right now he's living as a monster because Santa got turned into the monster of the week. The monsters of the week in this show are based on previous Super Sentai because this was also an anniversary season. Also, the season before this one was also an anniversary season. Don't ask. It was a real cluster of anniversary seasons. Yeah, so
That's what happens when your show's been running for 50 years.
So I don't have the picture of the monster open, but I'll get one. They go out and they find Santa, who is currently living as a homeless man. And what Santa has been doing as this monster is he has been teleporting into people's houses and leaving wrapped gifts. The gifts are full of garbage that make people recoil in terror, as Steg pointed out.
They like see cans with food in them and scream like there's a murder. Like,
let me see if I can pull up the image of the monster. But yeah, so he is basically living as a bitter old man, taking revenge on people for not appreciating the work he does. And he gives a story as to how this came to happen. Santa Claus was, he makes the toys, but the toys he was making were like really simple wooden toys, which modern children don't appreciate. So he makes like blocks and the ball in a cup toy that I don't remember the name of. But when he gives them to the children throw them away, and he's shocked by this. So he does like a stakeout mission wrapped in camo stuff to like see what children nowadays really like. So he overhears a kid saying, "Oh, I want a video game." So he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna get this kid a video game." And just as he's about to deliver the video game, he looks in the window and he overhears the kid saying, "Mom, I want a big brother. Can you get me a big brother?" So he's like, "Oh, how?" Santa's like, "Oh, how's he gonna do this?" I'm just gonna pull up this picture. This is the picture of Santa as the monster of the week. So Santa's like, "Oh, how am I gonna pull this off?" So I can't entirely find a picture of that for some reason. You'd think, given what we saw, Google would have a picture of this, but Santa goes to the little boy's door dressed as also a little boy. So imagine a man in a full beard dressed in like little children clothing with like a bug net. He's like, "Hey little boy, I'm gonna be your big brother from now on." The kid screams and calls the police and Santa's arrested.
yep.
So in his bitter humiliation, he turns into this monster. And the details of the fight aren't particularly important, but there's this monster is based on, what's it called? I want to say it was called. I think the series was called Change Man.
Oh, so those.
I want to say it was an aura. Yeah, I want to say the monster was called. Mask Man. It's based on Hikari Sentai Mask Man, which had aura powers, which is why you see this guy meditating and why his appearance is so religious. The details of the fight aren't particularly important, but what happens during the fight scene is that the Noto basically go through a training montage to all be Santa, where they like do endurance training with like push-ups and exercise, and they practice smiling. And like the Noto on the right here in particular is really bad at smiling because, he's trying to experience joy. He's trying to experience genuine laughter, and he just can't do it because, he's not human. So that's particularly good. But basically, these three run all about the city, delivering presents and restoring belief in Santa Claus. And one last time, Don Momotaro meets up with the homeless Santa and basically convinces him to take up his job again because the flashback they show where Santa comes into his room and is taking his toys is because that genuinely was Santa. Santa basically ran out of toys and he was asking this child, I've run out of toys. Do you mind if you loan me some of yours? And the boy willingly gives up a bunch of his toys, and then Santa spends time playing with them for a while because he didn't have any friends at the time. And it is revealed that Don Momotaro has been spending his money on Christmas gifts just in case Santa comes back and needs more, and he just gives them a bag of Christmas gifts. And aside from being... So I thought this was a good episode to touch on Christmas and Super Sentai, in addition to being batshit insane.
Oh, you forgot the whole part where they fight Santa, and then inexplicably one of their own members turns evil, and then they have to fight
Yeah,
them.
The sword, yeah.
Yeah.
This part is more plot relevant and is kind of confusing. There's an additional ranger named Don Murasame, because Same means shark. He's shark themed. This character is sort of like he has the personality of a child, and he's sort of a drone. He is a sentient sword with this humanoid form, and he is controlled by a guiding AI named Mother. So he has this sword that he takes on the main form of. So when they defeat the monster of the week, that's just sort of it. But because they have to have a giant robot fight once an episode, Don Murasame goes nuts because Don Murasame is there to kill them, but in the previous episode they'd managed to like tame him temporarily, so he turns into his giant form, which is the mecha of the season is called Oni Taijin, and Don Oni Taijin is awesome. Let me show you. This is how Don Oni Taijin is regularly introduced. Like, he has the warlord seat in the fan, and the Don Murasame's robot is basically just a black version of this. It's not really impressive, but
So do
I
they
will
fight
say,
like regularly every episode?
yes.
Okay.
The funny thing about this is, usually, you have character. Excuse me. They have the characters piloting the robot. That is not the case for this. When they form this robot, it is formed out of them literally turning into the components of the robot, and they're all aware. They're all aware and still talk from their positions on this robot. So you see how, like, there's the head, there's the head, there's the head, there's the head. They all still talk and are aware they're like arms and legs. This season also led to this toy of Don Oni Taijin. This is the best Super Sentai Mecha toy ever. Because usually these things are very blocky and inarticulate, and usually really gimmick laden, and the gimmicks tend to hinder like articulation and individual stuff. Apparently how this came about is the kid, like some director's kid, when they were making these toys, were expressed concerns with the fact that the toys couldn't move like they could move on the show, so they went all the fuck out with this figure and made it super articulate. It's like one of the tallest main mecha in the show in the history of these toys. It's like fully articulated. Like, I'm gonna show you a different one. I'm pulling this up. Yeah. This is from a season called Zoojer, where the series was based on like cubes and like murals. The mecha is made to look like murals or stuff. It's literally 3 blocks on top of one another. You can move the arms and that's it. This is the official toy for this. So, like, that's what
That's
we're working
sad.
with here on standards. Like, it's good for what it's going for, but, like, But yeah, that was the episode if you all want to chime in.
Okay, I didn't know that they always fight their sword friend, not friend, every episode. 'Cause I was
Not
gonna say,
every episode.
alright.
Not every episode.
I was gonna say, I thought the
Uh,
twist was because they were like losing the fight to begin, like, and they did like a couple different things to like come back and win it in the giant robot. I thought when they were losing the fight, that was when Santa Claus was going to show up and have his redemption. Was that
yeah,
moment?
usually if it doesn't turn into a giant robot fight with the monster of the week, they'll have somebody else leap in basically as the once an episode thing because there's like a think of it as a contractual obligation to do it once an episode.
All right. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like the evil mecha is winning, and then Santa Claus helps them
Yeah. Again, I
and
did
proves that
enjoy
he's
it.
not beyond
A lot
redemption
going
or
on.
something.
It had a cool premise. I did enjoy this one too. It's very nice.
Yeah, so one of the things that doesn't really appear in this show is in Super Sentai, the bad guys will always have some sort of grunts, like an army of generic guys, like the putties in the original Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
In this season, they are the Aoni? Aoni? Yeah, Anoni. They look like these surreal oil spill things. They disguise themselves as humans and can only be seen with special sunglasses like they live.
Man, that person on the left is having quite the camel toe situation.
Yeah, that kind of happens with the spandex suit sometimes
Yeah.
because in this episode, you see them like open these like digitally glitchy doors. Uh, Donbrothers and such are able to see these doors and like see all this extra weird, extra dimensional stuff using sunglasses like in They Live.
All right.
Okay, does anybody have any other thoughts before we go on to the final episode of the night?
No.
Not really. Or
No.
again, just
I don't have
didn't
any extra.
really fully understand what was going on, but it was entertaining.
You know, I don't have any particularly specific thoughts about this episode, but I do have to head out.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, no problem.
Good luck. You have to work, I guess.
Yeah, I have to go to work. I
Alright.
gotta get my laundry out the laundry dryer. I gotta take a shower, and I gotta get ready for work.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Then there were three.
Okay, we're still rolling, right?
Yeah.
The last thing I subjected them to, perhaps the most infamous Tokusatsu Christmas episode of all. It's Kamen Rider X-Aid. Merry Christmas, fuckers.
Jeez. God damn.
So Kamen Rider X-Aid is video game themed. And Kamen Rider X-Aid and Kamen Rider in general is typically a little different from Super Sentai in that it's usually based around one hero who is the common rider of the season, and then there will be supplementary riders as the show goes on. Usually there's like a main secondary rider, but X-Aid has a lot of riders. Okay, apparently I don't. Yeah, so the
They're
The
Doctor
plot
video
of
game
Kamen Rider.
robots.
Yeah. The plot of Kamen Rider Exade is it is based on uh it is a doctor series where they are fighting literal video game bugs as physical diseases. So you'll see the one in the middle. That's Kamen Rider Exade. He's a doctor, and he is themed. They all have their own little individual video game they use to transform. Exade uses Mighty Action X, which is your platformer. Brave is the hospital surgeon. He is very serious, and he likes sweets because his girlfriend died and wanted him to eat more. He's based on fantasy games like Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest. He uses a game called Tattle Quest. You have Kamen Rider Snipe, who is shooter game based. He works at a free clinic, a rundown free clinic, and he uses the game called Bang Bang Shooting. Then you'll notice the motorcycle over there. That's Kamen Rider Laser. He's based on racing games. He uses the game called Back Show Bike. Let's see. And what you're seeing here are the level 2, the quote-unquote level 2 forms. Yeah, the level 2 forms of these characters. The level 1 forms of the characters look like this. They look like little cartoon sprites, but this is like a full mascot costume that they fight and punch and stuff in. Basically, the level 1 form fights the entry stage of the Bugster virus. Then once the Bugster virus separates from the host, they fight it in like their main Kamen Rider form. They like open up the belt and they turn into these more humanoid forms.
You didn't introduce
Kamen
the
Rider
black
Laser.
one.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Kamen Rider Laser's level 2 form isn't a humanoid, it's a bike. He turns into this motorcycle. And then there's Gim. Gim is sort of like the palette swap of Kamen Rider Exade, and he's the evil rider of the series. Gim is at this point in the series, has just been revealed to have been the CEO of Gim Corp, who makes the video games that have that let them all transform. Gim is infamous as this meme character. Let's see. His name is Dan Kuroto. Because this guy is fucking psychotic. To explain this character is obsessed with godhood because he can create things. He can make these video games. He is this genius video game maker, and he basically wants to become God through video games, through being able to create shit. And as is sort of shown in this episode, he can be really frightening. So something that tends to happen in a lot of modern Kamen Rider series is they'll have a really serious villain who then scares children and then gets redeemed partway through the series, and they make him a fucking goofball. So he's this sort of lovable narcissist who becomes this goofy idiot halfway through the season.
Just cause.
They even made a figure arts of him with his warp pipe.
Huh.
Yeah, so the Christmas portion of let me see, what else was there else I need to explain. All right. So those were all their level 2 forms. The level 3 level 3 forms are basically those humanoid forms I showed earlier, but with extra stuff on them. So, like, for example, on the right you have Laser in his level 1 form. Then you have his level 2 form, which is just the motorcycle. and his level 3 form is then humanoid again. It's made using, in the toy, it's made using like this motorcycle, and it comes with a bunch of extra bits, so you give him limbs and he turns into a humanoid again. I'll also take a moment to point out the video game aesthetics of the show, where you can see the chest plate on the left that all the characters have, where they have like their weapons displayed. They have these Famicom buttons, and then they have like a health meter, which is going to come in. Is going to come into play later. All right, so to get into the episode proper, the main plot of the episode, that is the Christmas based episode, is uh, Kamen Rider X8. His actual name is M. It's like MEMU. Taking care of this child who's in his care, who has been contracted with the Bugster virus after he fell and broke his leg because he fell out of a tree. And the kid is proclaiming, "Oh, I hate Christmas. I hate cake," because his mother is a baker. It says mother's a baker. The thing about the Bugster virus is that the more it stresses the user out, the more it causes them to fade from reality. And basically, if it stresses them out enough, it'll kill the patient. So M takes the child to meet with his parents at the bakery that his mother works at. When they go there, the Bugster virus is already attacking the bakery, because he's the Bugster in question, whose name is Salty, because you could kind of tell he was slug based, but his name is Salty because he's the main villain of Mighty Action X, the game that Xaid uses. And so he was going to try and kill the kid's mother to stress the kid out so that he could fully evolve as a Bugster. So they get there just in time to intervene. And
There's a
one of the
lady
people with
who sings.
yeah, one of the people with them is the sort of mascot character they have, who is Poppy People Popple, who I'm pretty sure is only named that because it's a funny name to say, because people have to say this name with a serious face.
And she has powers, but she's not a rider because she's a bug?
Yeah, so she is, the thing about Bugsters is they're not all evil.
Okay.
So, because, in the episode, you see Salty, who's that chef slug, who is, he's the villain of the game. Or he's the villain of the, oh, okay, I did have a window open for this. He's the villain of that game, but Poppy People Popple is not the villain, because the game she is from is called Dore Mi Fa Beat. Is just to make Poppy smile. So she's not a villain like Bowser. You're just trying to impress her, like that one rhythm game from Rhythm Heaven.
Okay.
Like in. So they're all here. Let's see if this article have that. No, it doesn't have that. We can't get to that yet. They something about the games, that when they use the games to transform, they create what's called a game area, which is basically items spawn into the area where they're fighting. So you would have noticed like those bricks that showed up in the background. That's because Mighty Action X is a platformer, so those are the Mario bricks, but they're like chocolate bricks. And they break open the bricks to find the Merry Christmas power-up, which gives It gives Brave the Christmas power-up to the Do Re Mi Fa Beat level 3 form, and the Christmas form to Eggsade's level 1 form. They go in. So while they're fighting and dressed as fucking Santa Claus, Poppy is doing this musical number. A pointedly annoying musical number that is annoying on purpose. Where it's basically just her singing Jingle Bells, but she's doing it in gibberish by singing her own name.
Is that supposed to
And like
destroy the various like putties or whatever?
no, it's basically just there for Christmas cheer reasons.
All right.
So they're singing that. They find out that the reason why the kid fell out of the tree and injured himself was because he was secretly hiding this wreath in a tree that he was making for his parents. And, then while he was collecting ingredients, he fell out of the tree. And basically the reason why he hated Christmas and cake so much is because his mother was so busy due to the holiday season that she couldn't pay attention to him and spend time with him. So that was basically the cause of his stress. And, it's all a very sappy Christmas thing. And that's sort of the A-plot of the episode, because once they beat the Bugster for the episode, that's not the end of the episode.
It's like this would be the end of an episode, and then you look down, there's still 10 minutes left of the episode.
Yeah, so the thing about this was this was only episode 12, but this episode in particular was more plot focused than the two Sentai episodes. The Sentai episodes were more standalone.
Uh-huh.
So the little more about Kamen Rider Laser. His name's Kiria. I remember that. I can rarely remember these characters' names, especially when there's so many of them. So Kiria was looking into Dan Kuroto because, he was basically performing experiments on people. This is Kiria, Kamen Rider Laser, the guy that turns into the motorcycle. So he was looking into Dan Kuroto's backstory. So he goes to a prison and visits a man who is Dan Kuroto's father. And that sort of isn't relevant to what happens in this standalone episode. But he basically learns a bunch of stuff about Dan Kuroto and then goes to confront Dan Kuroto himself and calls in the other guys to join him in confronting Dan Kuroto. Dan Kuroto meets him there.
Is Dan Kuroto the black one?
Guy with the suitcase.
Oh no, I meant like is he the black rider?
Yeah. Yeah, Dan Kuroto is Kamen Rider Gem, the black one. The black Eggshade. Yeah, so Dan Kuroto here on the left he's basically trying to sway Kiria to his side, so he tempts him with a special power-up, which is the games they use to Transforms are called Gashats. And this one is called Dangerous Zombie. If I can get a picture of it. If I can get it.
And then the motorcycle guy becomes an idiot.
It's a motorcycle accident. Yeah, so this is the Dangerous Zombie Gashat. So what happens is, the thing about Kiria is he's a liar. He's this sort of charming character, but he's also a liar. As mentioned in the episode, the last time he was upfront and truthful with somebody was with his best friend, who contracted the Bugster virus. They sort of show flashbacks when he was up front with his friend that he was contracted the Bugster virus, which is lethal. That friend freaked out and accidentally ran into traffic and died. So he was really torn up about that. So he's basically really closed off and has a tendency to not tell the truth. So when Tyria takes the dangerous zombie Gashat, and he's like, you know what? Maybe I will join you. Psych. And then he kicks the suitcase away, and he figured, okay, I've got this new power up, and I'm going to use it against Gem to beat him up. So he puts the Gashat in the gamer driver, which is the thing they use to transform, that garish green block that you might see on their waists. And the dangerous zombie Gashat immediately drops his health bar to 1. So it basically almost kills him. And he, topples over in pain. But you have to keep in mind when he topples over in pain, he looks like this. So he topples over in his level 1 form. And then Dan Kuroto he just casually walks over and takes the dangerous zombie Gashat back out. And he's like, oh no, this is how you use it. And then he pulls out that little device. Let's see, I had the thing open. Where was it?
Pro tip, if you're ever in a situation where one of your enemies gives you a power up in exchange for working with them, and then you decide to actually you're going to fight them instead of joining them, don't try and use that power up against them immediately. Figure out what that power up does before activating.
Maybe.
Just pro tip.
Just a thought, yeah.
Yeah, man. So Dan Kuroto pulls out this, which is called it's basically another transformation device called the Gashikon Bug Visor. It's a weapon that some of the more advanced bugsters use, and it's made to look like well, it's a handheld gaming system. I don't remember which one it's called, because there's a thing called the Wonder Swan or some shit that they really like to homage in these games. He puts the dangerous zombie Gashat into the Buggle driver, and it gives him the power up of it is Gim Dangerous Zombie level 10, and up until this point, the most powerful form they've had is level 5, so this was a big deal, and was basically why Gim could curb stomp whoever he was fighting. I just want to say this form is so fucking cool.
This is very early 2000s Shadow the Hedgehog cool.
When he does the transformation where he bursts out of the character selection screen like a jump scare, and then does the zombie, he makes all these zombie poses, and with the musical sting, it actually gives me chills. It still gives me chills. It gives me chills when we were watching it.
You just
fucking such a cool design.
DBZ fucking Club Vegeta going, he's so fucking cool.
Yes. Because you can even see all the different details they did, because you'd have the broken visor with the bloody eye and the cracked visor with the empty gauge, because this is based on death data.
Yeah.
I encourage you, look up the transformation for Dangerous Zombie. It's so cool. And this basically summons a bunch of zombie mooks that keep all the other characters away. while Kamen Rider Gim, level 10, beats the ever-loving shit out of an already weakened Kamen Rider Laser. And he actually just kills Kiryu. Like, in the series, this is episode 12, this is the first time you see what happens when one of these gamer riders gets a game over. He basically dissolves into data and dies, and they play it dead serious. Like, Kiryu dies in the rain as he is basically fucking dissolving and handing over his transformation belt while trying to reassure the main character. And it is just them crying in the rain as Gim walks away.
Huh.
Now, I want
Just
you
feel
all
like,
now.
what happened to Christmas?
Yeah, this happened 10 minutes after everybody was happy singing jingle bells and shit. 10 minutes earlier was this. Oh, this episode is incredibly infamous.
For just
Because I want to say,
whiplash.
this episode, yep, aired December 25th. This aired on Christmas. And when it aired, on Twitter, there was a trending topic. Let me see. It was called, Why did Kiria have to die so soon? This went viral in Japan because many parents of young children are upset that they decided to show something so dark as a main character dying on screen with the villain triumphant, while
On
also
Christmas
having
Day.
to while also having to explain the concept of death to their preschool kids on Christmas. Because something you have to understand about Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, in Power Rangers is marketed to more like 10 to 15-year-olds, not super young kids. Kamen Rider and Super Sentai are marketed to like toddlers.
Oh.
Oh, I could tell.
So for the Power Rangers audience, they were to do this in Power Rangers. Little Timmy's probably seen his dog, who was like 15, go to the farm upstate by now. This is little Susie doesn't know what happens to souls or what a soul is.
Let me just pull the image back up. Yeah, so this became a popular meme.
Grant, that may be my personal experience because I remember learning the concept of death really, really early. I think that was a combination of I think my great grandfather passed away around the same time. My brother and I were getting really into documentaries, and a lot of things die in documentaries.
Like in The Wild Robot when a bird gets its head cut off.
Yeah.
Yes. So this episode became a popular meme, as you can see. Merry Christmas, everyone. So one particular report, a 2.5-year-old child was so angered by this episode that he took the roleplay toy he got for Christmas and told his dad he was going to go hunt Kamen Rider Gim down and bring Laser back.
Oh, really?
The most badass kid in Japan is gonna go take down this fucking psychopath.
Well, this has been this episode where we talk about 3 pseudo-related series.
How does everybody feel?
Tune in next time when we'll probably, I don't know if Braden's got his thing ready. If not, we'll watch the Hanukkah thing where we'll watch 2 episodes of the same show, not 3 different shows. Tune in next time. Bye.
And hopefully not get tonal whiplash. Good night, everyone.